What's going on, everyone? This is Damien from Lore Seekers, and today I have the PPG Set 5 side event lists. Now, this was from DLC Toronto, and if you don't know, Set 5 wasn't legal for the event, for the main event, but it was for side events. Now, we're just gonna go over the lists for this particular side event, because we are still getting lists from other events. I don't believe that it's worth showing you, like, hey, this is the one deck that got like top 4. So maybe it's better to just wait to see everything. However, without any further prolonging, because this intro is already quite long, let's just get into it. Roll the video. Here it is, the top 8, and once again, 8 completely different decks. Now, before we begin, huge shout out to PPG, phenomenal TO. Full disclosure, I have worked with PPG in the past. I'm a professional caster for a different game. So, guys, I worked with almost every TO in the world. And PPG is at the very top of my list. Absolutely love them. Huge shout out to PPG for hosting another amazing event. Now, for this side event, there were 48 players. In total, this was during the big one, I think, the 900 and something players on day 1. We have first place, Sisu on Ice. So Sisu wins another Set 5 event. Sisu wins again. We just saw Sisu win yesterday, I believe. Now Sisu wins again. Like, this is probably, very likely, the best deck in the format. Now, something that I have been waiting for a long while, and I believe a couple of you have been waiting for as well. Second place, Emerald Steel. Yes, Emerald Steel finally shows up in the top 8, and it is completely different from what we are used to. It is completely different. Then third place, Amethyst Emerald Bounce. That's a pretty neat deck. We have seen a couple of them, but just a couple in the top 8. Fourth place, the staple of the top 8, Ruby Amethyst Bounce deck. Like, it's Ruby Amethyst Bounce. Then we have fifth place, Aggro. So, Ember Amethyst Aggro, the Hyper Aggro deck that everyone has been talking about. So, where is aggro? What's going on? Well, now we see second event where this deck has stopped. And both of these events were like over 40 players. So it's a pretty good showing for the deck so far. It doesn't pull the results. It doesn't pull the same results as some other decks. It only topped twice so far. But there certainly is potential. Then we have sixth place, Steel Song. So, I believe that at this point we can conclude that Sisu, Ruby Emerald, Bounce, and Steel Song are the highest topping, the most often topping lists decks, including Blurple. Blurple as well tops like mad. And now, a big shocker, an absolute shocker. 7th place, Brooms. Yeah, Brooms got 7th place. Congratulations, absolute congratulations. And finally, 8th place, Sing Together. So, huge congratulations to everyone who made it to the top 8. And now, let's check out the deck lists. Alright, you know the drill. I am here with InkDecks, the best website for this meta results. Huge shout out to them. I'm linking them in the description below. Now, let's start. As you can see, 48 players. We will start with first place, Sisu on Ice. Let's just scroll here. I know a lot of you find this the easier way to follow. Okay, so going through it, we have one hideaway. Some lists don't run this one. Actually, see, it ran less and less. However, some lists also include like at least one copy in it. Tipo, absolute staple. Vision of the Future. Vision of the Future, 3 copies, and Brawl at 3. Okay, Vision of the Future is an amazing card. Like, look at top 5, put one to hand, bottom the rest. Just tutor top 5 for whatever you need. amazing. And 3 copies of Develop Your Brain. Blah blah blah. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm waking up. So, what else do we have? We have Sisu, 3 copies of Grand Matala. Don't see this in every list. I really don't see her in every list, but okay, she's making a bit of a comeback here. Cusco at 2 copies, which is a staple now for Sisu on Ice, and then the rest, basically. Now, let's do the big one. Emerald Steel. Okay, let's see if I can... Oh, yeah, this is much better, I believe. So, what do we have here? It's a weird one, right? It's no longer discard oriented. Like, you still have your Diablos. The list went back to Pegasus Cloud Racer, who can give all of your things invasive. There is, of course, the Flint Rider at 3 copies. Smee makes an appearance in this deck. There is a lot of more damage-oriented things. Let's just put it like that. So, we have Cheshire Cat and 3 copies of the Floodborn Cheshire Cat. You basically exert Cheshire Cat and you banished a damaged character. So, yeah, you deal damage, you challenge into things, you use your, you use your like the Storm Rage on. You can also challenge big things with Beast. You have your grab your sword. Whole New World is a new addition here. Whole New World is an interesting addition. Each player discards their hand and they draw 7. Amazing if you have Diablo in play. You still have 3 Beasts and 3 Robin Hoods as your big high-end cards. 2 Simbas found a way in. Simba is great. You play him and you just banish an item or a location. This can be very, very powerful depending on the matchup. And 2 Tinkerbells. So the discard engine is basically gone from Emerald Steel. I would imagine that we'd see Mirror here, right? But Prince John Mirror isn't even included in the deck. No, it's just, deal damage, use Cheshire Cat, banish things. You have some discard with Whole New World here. You have your Pegasus just to give evasive for one big lore swing. So it seems tempo oriented, but like it's so different from anything that we have seen so far. I'll have to process my thoughts on this one. Then we have the purple-green bounce. Okay, this one is a bit more hand destruction, right? You have your Cursed Merfolk here, you have your Sudden Chills, 4 copies of the Seaver of All, you have your Prince John, so this is the discarded deck. You also have 2 copies of Rourke. So let me just open it up. So Rourke basically says, whenever one of your other characters is banished, each opponent loses 1 lore. And when you play him, chosen opposing character gains Reckless next turn. It's a good way to get some advantage back. You also have 1 copy of Hypnotize. Each opponent chooses a card and discards it. Draw a card, so just be free. It's an action, you can't sing it. It's a bit expensive, but your opponent discards 1 and you draw 1. You have the Queen's Castle, which is amazing into several matchups that just don't have a way to remove a location. And you just sit with Queen's Castle here, you gain lore, you use your cards to discard your opponent's hand, you take away their ways of dealing with the Queen's Castle, you have friends on the other side, which you can sing with Ursula, just draw 4 cards. So, yeah, in the mirror match, or if there are some locations or key items that you need to get rid of, you have your Welcome and you have your big Ursula. Just as a huge control tool. Then we have Ruby Amethyst going down. Here it is. So Ruby Amethyst bounce. There are a few cards that immediately catch my eye here. So 1 copy of the Cusco. We did see that in a list yesterday. This is the first time I actually see Pinocchio in these lists. When you play this character, you may exert chosen opposing character. Okay, so play him 1/1, quest for 1, exert something. what do we have? We have Titan Ambitions. We have Friends on the Other Side, which, yeah, we use to draw more. We have the Super Goof here. So when Super Goof banishes a character in challenge, whenever this character challenges another character, not banishes, I'm sorry, challenges another character, you gain 2 lore. It's an alternative way of getting lore. You have your Queen's Castle here. The interesting card that immediately caught my eye was a Sorcerer's Spellbook. Just exert it, pay 1 and gain 1 lore. An alternative way to gain lore along with your castles. You have your Maleficence, you have your bounce package, you draw through the deck lightning fast, and you have a couple of cards here at the high end. Then we move to Ember Amethyst. So this is the aggro deck, the big scary, shows up, and some lists call it Ember Amethyst Bounce. Effectively, it is a semi-bounce deck. You have of course you have your Befuddle, you have your Meme here, but mostly you're just playing aggro. You have your 1 costs, which quest for 2 in Daisy, Lilo, and Maleficent. Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom at 2 copies. It's a great card. I think that it is a pretty great card. It helps you get there. For example, if you aggro your opponent very early on, but your opponent manages to get rid of your board, and you don't have the time to establish something due to all of their removal, but you already got close enough that you just need those last couple of lore, Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom can get you there. It can only be stopped by Pete. So, while the card is not completely insane, it is strong and it will get you to that 20 lore in several situations. You have your Piglets, and for location you have the library. Then we have the Steel Song list. It's a Steel Song list. So, yeah, there's nothing really weird here. You have your Benjas. When you play this character, you may banish chosen item. You have your Lawrences. You don't have anything really different from what we have seen so far. You just try to get your whole new world as best as possible. The early game is quite aggressive with Piglet and Daisies. You have your Cinderella as your 1 cost, which can which can sing a couple of songs in the deck, and it's basically still song. Now Brooms. Okay, now it is time to take a look at the Brooms deck. So, basically you run your Brooms, right? You have a couple of them. You have the 1 cost, you have the 2 cost with Evasive, you have the 4 cost Steel Magic Broom, and you have the big one, the 5 cost Broom here. You have your Yensid. While you have 2 or more Magic Brooms in play, he gets +2 lore, so he quests for free. You have Queen's Castle as a faster way of gaining lore, and you have the library. You don't have the Sorcerer's Tower though. You don't have Mickey Sorcerer. You just have these 2. You play these 2 locations basically. Strength of a Raging Fire is great because you can swarm Brooms very, very quickly. Friends on the Other Side to help you draw more cards. Pete to, for example, if you're playing versus a deck that would remove a lot of your things or would just like mess up your hand or something, you play Pete. Pete blocks actions. You have the standard bounce package here with Merlin Goat and Merlin Rabbit, and that's basically it. And then you have Ember Emerald. So you have Ember Emeralds synced together. It is the discard version. We have seen this one yesterday as well. Running Sudden Chill and Bare Necessities. Along with You Have Forgotten Me to help you get rid of your opponent's cards. You have Ursula Deceiver. You don't run Deceiver at all in this list. Prince John extra card draw Muses to get rid of cards. You have your Kidas, and that's, well, we don't talk about Bruno, and that's basically it. The one cool inclusion is Hidden Co. Characters here get +1 strength and 1 willpower. Anyways, that's it. Those were the deck lists. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the breakdown? Another 8 different decks top 8 breakdown. Absolutely love it. I'm super hyped to finally see Emerald Steel break into the top 8. Yeah, it's very different from what we are used to. It's very different. However, I have seen versions of this list online. I have seen versions, but I haven't seen results. And now it's amazing to actually finally see results. Are you shocked that Brooms got into top 8? I love seeing this. I think Brooms are super fun to play. So let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And while you're here, please share the video around. It helps other players. Hit those like and subscribe buttons and help us get to 500 subs when we're gonna have a giveaway. This has been Damien from Lore Seekers, and I'll see all of you in the next video.